Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, or whatever time you're watching. I thank you for watching. I'm trying to get this channel up and started, and I need your help. It would really be helpful to me if you would give it a like and subscribe and come back for a lot more in the future. Today I thought I would discuss loss. It is something we universally around the world, everybody suffers loss and everyone deals with it differently. So I'm going to tell you about how I've seen people deal with it, how I've dealt with it, and hopefully this will help you to feel like it's not wrong anything you're doing or feeling. It's the way you grieve. So let's get started. First of all, there is no set rules, on how you grieve. I know they always say, oh, the 5 stages of grief, blah, blah, blah. But that's just a, kind of a little guideline. But the real truth of the matter is everyone handles it in a different way. And I've had a lot of losses in my life, especially, I don't know, I was going to say last 20 years, but that I can think back even further. The first loss I had was when I was 8 years old. And my godfather, Uncle Luke, he died from colon cancer. He was a great artist. And if you Google his name, Luke Dohney, D-O-H-N-E-Y, you will see information about him. He was a fantastic artist. So he was my godfather, and he died sadly of bowel cancer. So that was my first experience with that. And I was really young, and I was very sad. And I just felt so, confused about it all. And I mean, I had seen him with his bag. And back then they were really bad looking. So, but today it's not like that. Anyhow, and then you just keep going up. When I was 11, I lost a friend of mine. I used to live in Chicago, and he was killed on the streets of Chicago when he was 13. So, that was really hard to deal with, somebody being so young. And then you just keep going on up, and I lost my grandmother, my Nana, when I was 15. And then I have to include dogs and animals that we love, because when I was 23, or was it when I was 22? I have to think. I try not to think about it because it still rips me apart. And I think it was the manner of his death that just really, really hit me. So I had gotten for my 16th birthday a little Yorkie, and he was so tiny. My brother named him Sherman, and that fit him because my brother said he's a Sherman tank, even if he was really little. So my dad retired, and we moved down to Florida. And it was just a little bit of time before, it was like 6 days before my daughter's 2nd birthday. And my mom let him out front in the courtyard so he could have some fresh air. And he got through the gate, and there was this bulldog that had kept coming down bothering him. Anyway, that ended his life that day. So it was horrifying. He was only 6 years old. The love of my life at the time. I loved my baby. And I got to tell you, it still hurts. Hurts when I think about it. I don't want to think about it, so I try not to. It's too painful. And then from that, I move on to when my cousin, who was the same age as me, no, before my cousin, it was my aunt. I loved my aunt Evelyn. She died when she was only 60 of cancer. And that was horrifying. I loved her so much. She was the nicest woman you could meet. She was so sweet, kind, had 10 kids. She was just amazing. So she passed away, and that was tough. Then, 6 years later, my cousin, who was the same age as me at the time, 36 years old, she, okay, I have a little friend who wants to come up and sit. Okay. Yes, she's your good girl. Yes, okay, Minnie. My cousin died very quickly. She was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was extremely aggressive. She chose to do holistic method back then, and I like holistic things, but when you have cancer, you really need to hit it full force. So she didn't, and within 2 months, she was gone. And that was really hard because she and I grew up together, doing everything together, and that was very difficult. So then, going on from my cousin Tracy, I lost a lot of friends, tons of friends. At this point in my life, I have one dear friend who is left, who is battling cancer. So if you could say some prayers for her. Her name is Janet. This has been going on for so long. They thought, over 10 years ago, they thought she had been cured. Started out as endometrial cancer. And, so I'm dealing with just that because she's doing chemo now. So, it's very difficult. It's heartbreaking. But I've lost just all my friends, they're all gone. And I'm young, so I don't understand, I usually when you are in your 80s, you start losing friends. Not when you're in your 40s, 50s. And I'm 65 right now. Not now. So, and then I lost my mom and dad in 2012. That was that. Well, before that, let me go back. I lost my brother in 2007. He was only 50. He had esophageal cancer. It was horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. And losing a sibling is a very different experience. They're sort of like your history. They know everything about you. They are your history, and I know everything about him. And we lost him, and that took a very huge toll on me. And I have to tell you, I still, next year, it'll be 20 years. I still am just still carrying grief. And I really wish he was here. Boy, I would have loved for him to still be here. See all his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren. Oh boy, you know, he loved babies. So he would have been so enjoying this time of life. But it was his time to go, and he went. And in 2012, I lost both my parents that year, 6 months apart. They were moving in with me because they were 89 and couldn't really take care of themselves anymore. My mom had had a stroke, and, you know, my dad got help in, but no, it wasn't working. So they were going to move in with me, and we had started that process. And then my dad just started complaining about his legs hurting. So long story short, he had caught the same virus that causes strep, but his went to his heart. And it just kind of ate away at his, you know, his arteries and in his heart, you know, so yeah, from finding that out to when he passed was a week. So not time to really prepare yourself. And that was so heartbreaking for my mom. 67 years they were together. They had a love story. I'll have to tell you that story one day, because it was one of those love stories that comes along once in a century, you know. They loved each other so much, and kind of love at first sight type of thing, and we're together 67 years. So in a way, it was good for my mom that her memory was going, because she started thinking that my son was my dad. So she started calling him sweetheart and thinking she was talking to my dad. So I think that relieved her of some of that pain. And I was in a lot of pain. However, I was totally, you know, putting my focus on my mom. And then, you know, he died in April. And then November 4th, a week before that, my mom had a major stroke. And then she passed away after 5 days. And both of them passed away in my house. I got them hospice beds. I put them in the same place. And so they passed in the same place. And because I have so much faith, I just have so much faith. And I knew where they went. So, and I can sense and feel things around me. And I knew when my mom was laying there, you know, passing, I could just sense that my dad was standing there with his hands in his pockets, like he always did, jingling coins or something, just kind of standing there staring at her. And he was waiting. He was waiting for her. And I knew that. I could feel him. I actually can feel when people die, how they feel. Like as their spirit leaves them. I feel that, and I know how they're feeling. When my dad left, he was like a little boy. He was so excited. I could feel so much excitement. He was just like a little boy going up to heaven and just unbelievably thrilled and excited. And my mom, when she passed, it was just worship and awe and peace, love. It was it was beautiful. So I felt that with my Nana too when I was just, 15? that when my aunt and my dad were saying they thought that she had passed, and they were trying to check for a, where are you going? Okay, you're gonna smell the roses? Okay, yeah, stop and smell the roses on the way. Okay, so anyway, I had a little panic. I'm like, no, she's not gone, she's not. But then all of a sudden, it just sort of hit me of a light up in the corner of her bedroom, and I could tell she was going. She was gone. She was heading to heaven, and her light left, and that was just, again, very difficult. Then I lost a couple more friends that were very dear to me, and then the worst loss for me was my grandson, Connor, who was born with trisomy 1. There's people online, I've seen trisomy, people with trisomy 5, trisomy 15, trisomy 13. Down syndrome is trisomy 21, and they're the best. They have the best outcome. They do the best. However, the doctors, said Connor wouldn't live at all. He would die in utero, and then he would die at birth, and then he wouldn't make it to 1. And God blessed us with the gift of 11 years with him. And when he left, we were all around him. He was in the hospital. And my daughter came up to me after, and she said, "Did you feel anything?" And I said, "No, it's too painful." The pain was so intense. It actually was traveling through my body, through my bones. So no, I didn't. But before he passed, this is funny. Before he passed, I saw my mother. I saw her head above his hospital bed. And I thought, oh, good. She's here. She's here to take him. He won't be alone. He'll be okay. So, yeah, I did see her. But the loss of him, I have to tell you, I don't think he died August 6th, and I was in a fog until, I don't know, for the next year. I mean, literally, I don't remember things. I don't remember anything that year. I know we didn't put up any Christmas stuff. It's like when Sherman died, my dog. He died just 5 days before my daughter's 2nd birthday, and 5 or 6 days. I don't remember my daughter's 2nd birthday. I have pictures, so I know, what happened, but I have no memory of that time because I just, anyway, same thing with my Connor. I'm still in so much pain. I'm so happy for him because he's not trisomy 1 anymore. And now he can walk, he can talk, he can eat, he can do everything. He's perfect. He always was perfect. Now he's even made more perfect by God. And I just can't wait to get there to see him. He was the love of my life, that guy. I loved him so much. He was my natural Xanax because when I would get out of work, I'd go over to the house on my way home. I'd lay on the floor with him, and I would just feel such a peace, the peace of God. It was just amazing. He was just amazing. And he was a gift from God. He was a little miracle that came in our lives for 11 years. And I think Connor's mission was just to show love unconditionally. I've always said the only person who will never, never disappoint me on this earth was Kevin. Well, not Kevin, was Connor. And he never did. He never did. But you're going to get disappointed by a lot of people. That's just part of life. None of us are perfect. So after losing Connor, the next year, let's see. I have to think a minute. Yeah, the next year, I lost my oldest friend that I've had since I was 5, and my best friend that I knew since I was 23. Surprise death. My oldest friend, she had breast cancer, and I don't know. She didn't get the best help. So then my other friend, he was my best friend, and I got a call from his wife, and she said something's happened. And I thought, is he in the hospital? And she said, no, he passed away. And I was just, oh my gosh, broken. So those were 2 hard ones the next year. And it was weird because she said, and you know, I get these things. I can tell you all about my spiritual experiences in another video if you want to hear about spirits that have come to me. I have dreams, visions. I mean, my mother actually was right there in my face, and she scared the daylights out of me. But as her spirit pulled away, then I could see who it was, and she was young. She was like 21 or something. And then I felt better. I was like, oh, Mama. It made me feel so good. So, and she was just letting me know, I'm still watching over you. I haven't left you. I'm in another place. So then after my friends and Connor, and to this day, I still grieve Connor horrible. There's a big story with that I'll have to go into another time. And after that, I have to think. I haven't lost any family members these past few years, so it's been a bit of a respite, but I did lose my best friend, 4-legged Joey. My Joey was a golden retriever who liked to eat, and he was so funny. He didn't like to exercise, and he liked to eat, so he was a big boy. And I think his highest weight was like 140. And the vet was like, you've got to put him on, you know, this or that or this or that, you know. And he was on a dog food called Fat Dog. And, well, we got his weight down into the 120s. But then he collapsed one day, and my son and I couldn't pick him up. He was so big. So my son's boss came over and helped us to get him in the car, and we got him to the pet emergency, and they said his spleen had erupted, and the doctor was going to do surgery to remove the pieces. But then they tested for cancer. And I knew it was because in 2019, I lost my other golden. my Sadie. She lived to 12, and she collapsed one day, and my son came running and said, something's happened. And I'm like, what do you mean, to Sadie? And he goes, yes, I'm sorry, Sadie. And I guess she heard me saying her voice, and God bless her, she got up and she walked to me and collapsed again. So she only weighed 65 pounds, so it was a lot easier to get her into the car. And we ran to the vet, and they did scans, and they told me she had spleen cancer. And I took her to a second opinion of doctors that are supposed to be the top in the city where I live by. And, oh, that's my Presley. He's crying. And when we got there, they said the same thing. She's passing. They said, do you want us to take care of it? I said, no, we'll take her back to her vet. So we did. We got in the car and took her back to our vet and called the whole family, and everyone came to say goodbye. And that was just so sad. That little guy you can hear crying in the background, if you hear him, that was his girl. He loved her so much. He literally cried like that nonstop for 2 weeks. And I called the vet and I told them, and the vet said, well, oh my goodness. The vet said that, here, I'm going to have to stop it and go and get him. Okay, I'm back now with my little guy, the old guy. Yeah, it's okay. He can't hear, he can't see. He sees shadows, I think. But, I debate, should I take him? Is he suffering? He has a mouth infection. I know his jaw is really painful for him. I do give him hemp oil, which I got from Chewy. And I do believe that helps with the pain. So, I give him that regularly. But anyway, getting back to, he cried 2 weeks straight. And the vet wanted to put him on antidepressants. I was like, no, no, I'm not going to do that. And then when Joey died, it's when he started this decline, because Joey left us 2.5 years ago. He stopped eating. He wouldn't eat anything. So when he started eating again, I've tried really hard. He won't eat dog food now because of his teeth problem, his mouth. And so, what's it, baby, huh? Yes, I know. So, he lost his 2 best friends and his girlfriend. And so this is where I am now. And I'm telling you, the loss of a beloved pet is just as bad as the loss of a close friend, a family member. It's different kind of in your mind, but it is not different in your heart. There are all different types of grief. With my daughter, she chose, when Connor passed, to just remove everything of him out of the house. And no one was allowed to say his name. Even now, if I try to say his name, I have to give her a warning. So, and that's another story. She's a narcissist. Let me just put that out there. She's a big one. Big, big, big. So, try and get along with her for the sake of my grandson, who is still with us. Yeah, he's great. I do have a granddaughter. She doesn't talk to me anymore. And I know that has to do with the way my daughter has treated me through the years and the nasty things my daughter has said to my granddaughter about me that are not true. They're not true. So my granddaughter doesn't even know me. She doesn't know who I really am. So, yeah. So everybody, like, she banned talking about Connor, but me, I talked and talked and talked to my son. I screamed, I cried, I just, and when he died in the hospital, I can't help it. I just started screaming. And then my daughter told me later that this young nurse he had just started had never seen anybody scream like that. And my daughter was trying to make me feel bad for doing that. And I said, well, he just has to be there a little while longer because a lot of people react that way. So, and it's not wrong how you react. It's perfectly fine. If that's your way of getting through it, if you have to go to the extreme like my daughter, where couldn't say his name, couldn't talk about him, that was how she dealt with it. Me, I liked talking about him and remembering everything and thinking about his life and all the fun things he used to do and funny things and cute, adorable things and just all the blessings that we got from God with Connor. So, I mean, everybody grieves differently. I will tell you, I've had about 4 mental breakdowns. They used to call them nervous breakdowns. I don't know why they got away from saying that, but yeah, and they were all after the passing of someone really close to me. So, like my brother, my mom and dad, my Connor. So it's okay. Go ahead. Do what you've got to do to grieve. And one day you come out of the fog and it still hurts. But it gets easier to think about, to talk about. So it will, eventually. I mean, you never get over grief. This is what I've learned. You never stop. You don't get over grief. Your heart doesn't mend. People say, oh, give it a little time and you'll feel better. No, doesn't go that way. Grief is permanent. You're always going to grieve for that loved one. You always will. It's always going to be an ache in your heart. And you just get through it. I believe so much in the power of God and in Him. And He's always with me. I have a very close relationship with Him. And He has picked me up so many times and helped me through things. And I've learned a lot. So, what is it, baby? Want me to put you down? Okay, here you go. Okay. All right, so, I have filled my life with more dogs. I have Presley already, 17, then I got 2 more. And I love them. And I was at PetSmart over the weekend, me and my son was like, get away, because they were having a puppy adoption out front. I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these puppies. So I could have taken them all, but, we can't, and we can't afford that right now. And, we're getting ready actually to move. So it's not a good time to do that. So anyway, but, and these 2 little nuts here, there's Minnie again, trying to get up here. Yes, you are. They have helped me a lot. They are so intuitive and so loving and so kind. How come your face is wet? Because I've been playing with Mary. Mary, have you been licking her face? So I'm telling you, grieve any way you want, any way you need to. And don't feel bad because it's a year or 2 or 3 or 4 years later and your heart still, that hole will always be there. I've got these dogs. They didn't replace Sadie or Joey or Sherman. None of them. None of them. They are who they are. And I love them for who they are. So, and you can't replace loved ones. You can't. So, but I'm such a big believer in heaven. And that I know my family waits. And Toby Mac just came out with a song. It's called Heaven on My Mind. And he says that, I've got heaven on my mind. I got people waiting by. Not that it's bad down here, but yeah, I want to be dancing on those golden streets. So I totally get it. I feel like that. My passing will be wonderful for me. I feel bad for my son who will grieve, but he's got a great support of friends and coworkers, and he'll be okay. But I feel peace knowing that when I am absent from the body, I will be present with the Lord, and I'll be present with my loved ones again. So we will meet again. My mom and I used to sing that song together all the time. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but we'll meet again one sunny day. So excuse the voice, but that's the song. It came out, World War II song, and it's true. So if you have any questions, please, put them in the comments, and I would really be thankful if you could like and subscribe, because I'm just trying to get this channel going. So today we talked about grief, and I hope that, I'd like to also talk about, mental breakdowns. I've been through those, and I could give you firsthand knowledge of that, and also depression, anxiety, or anything else you want to talk about. Child rearing, baby rearing, dogs. You want to talk about dogs? Because I do all this studying about dogs. I'm such a freak now. I don't want them to get cancer. And I'm, even though they're young, I still feel for lumps. It's like, anyway, but, anything. And having a grandson who had a disability. And what a blessing. What a blessing. The doctor asked my daughter 5 times to abort him, and she said no. And thank you, God, that he did come, because he's been the biggest blessing of my life. My life. So, it's been rough. I've been through a lot. I've been through divorce, going back to college, spending at least 10 years in education, going into the school system as a counselor, and as a teacher. I started out as a special ed teacher, so I can talk to you about learning disabilities, any questions that you have. I'm here. I can address them. And also just want to end this now by saying I'm still praying, and I hope all of you are praying for Nancy. Not really any big news today on that, but they did get another message. So I'm hoping this is coming to a happy conclusion, very, very soon, like within 24 hours. I just am praying so hard for her, that family, and for her. So come and join me. Not a very uplifting video, but it's uplifting in the sense that we will all be together again. And yes, dogs and animals, they do go to heaven. It's in the Bible. Jesus has a horse. He comes back on a horse. So if there's horses, there's dogs, there's cats, there's all the things that we love. Everything in God's creation will be there. So I hope you join me for my next video. In the meantime, may God bless you. Have a super sparkly day. And lots of love and hugs from me. And have a great one. Bye-bye.